Babe.
Hi.
Babe, pull it together, please. We're going.
Pulling it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
Hi.
To the Sean and Sax Show.
Welcome.
We're here. Gunner's here, as usual.
He's a guard dog.
Yeah. So, yeah, babe.
We look so formal right
this
now.
will officially be our last podcast with the table. I have declared that. Now it's on. It's
I like
permanent.
it for selfish reasons.
Well, I don't really care.
Because I can lean on it.
You can get another table. You can get a chair with armrests and the whole thing. I don't like the table. I haven't liked the table. I don't like the table. And unless you want to find a new co-host, this is the last time that I'll be podcasting.
Gunner, you looking
from
for
this
a job?
table. So we're gonna mix it up a little bit. We're gonna put some chairs in the studio and change it up. It's just how we operate. That's what we're doing. Great job. I like the decision, babe. So, guys, we welcome back to the show. We were talking earlier about working together. Sax and I work together.
Uh-huh.
Is that what we call it?
I think we just build life together.
Or do we coexist in our home and then we tend to migrate to an office and we tend to hover around one another for hours a day, sometimes annoying the shit out of each other, sometimes weaning inspiration from one another.
I literally just said this to Richie and Connor. What? I said, I'm basically attached at his hip, married, like you're best friends, you're like best buddies, you're roommates, and you're kind of like that annoying mosquito too that won't ever go away, but you picked them, so you kind of like have to deal with it.
Did you
That's
just call
like
him a mosquito?
No, it's more referring to me.
You're a mosquito. You're the annoying mosquito. Got it.
But I'm so funny.
You know what's funny though? Like, look, I've done this both ways. I've done life both ways. I've done the not working together and the working together. And for those of you that don't know or don't follow us, what we work together really with a lot of different things. Like we don't really have an official capacity per se of like Sax is like the COO or whatever. She's kind of the vice president
of life. She's of the Whalen life.
Simmer down, babe. The chairman of the home, chairman of the castle, but she designs all our Queen's collection for the apparel company. Mm-hmm. Not like there's no official capacity or title or whatever. You just do it, right? And we do a lot of the Lion's Den stuff together, and we do a lot of, everything together.
Yeah.
And I actually really enjoy it. There's days where I'm just like, babe, just go in your office, shut the fuck up, don't talk to me, and that would be great.
My office is the old storage room.
It is the old storage room. I mean, she's a late addition to the team, so she got what we could give her.
I get
she got the broom closet.
The broom closet. I love it.
But
cozy.
We talk to a lot of people. We work with a lot of people and have a lot of clients that work together and want to work together, but don't really know how to work together. Mm-hmm. It's a struggle. You know what I mean? I think there's a preconceived notion that guy goes out, does his deal, gets a job, builds a business, whatever.
Yeah.
That's how I was. When I was married, the summer would drop by the office every now and again. Hey, everybody, whatever, that's Sean's wife. Okay, bye. And like maybe a month later kind of a thing. Or she would pop in for the Christmas party or, festivities for the company. But it was my company, right?
Sure. Where
you and I are really blended in what we do. And I think there's a couple different things that I want to share about this and then what you want to share. One of the things that I've learned over the last 10 years about business specifically is the level of communication. I'm speaking specifically to guys right now because a lot of us have this idea that we just go out, we hunt the buffalo, we do our deal, and we come home and it's like we just want to unwind. Honey, don't worry about it. We got everything under control. And I found that worked for a while in my marriage, and really my ex-wife didn't know anything really. Mm-hmm. She didn't know what deals we were doing, what money was being invested, spent, lost, whatever. Yeah. I basically paid our house, wrote a check every Friday that covered our home, nut, and the whole deal. And that was really the extent of it. You know, and looking at it now, fast forwarding to today, like my life personally is a lot more free and open, pleasant, by you knowing, and not just knowing, but being involved with a lot of what we're doing. You know what I mean? The good, the bad, the up, the down, the whole game. Everything from live events to the fly-ins to Lions Den Live to coaching to clients to the apparel. You know, I mean, Jadari, pretty much anything and everything that we're doing. And I like that because I have found that compartmentalizing is really fucking hard.
Yeah.
Compartmentalizing for a guy is really hard. Like you have to have the home dad, the home guy, and then the work guy.
Right.
And it's really hard because for most of my life, I didn't understand how to blend the two. I didn't understand how to communicate on the two, right? And I share this because I know, I don't say think I know, a lot of men and women struggle with this.
Yeah.
Because we've been programmed, raised, taught to believe that, you know, you've got the home life and then the work life. And I have found, specifically in our relationship, a lot more freedom in knowing that all the cards are on the table, number one. But number two, you know, I don't, and this has just been my personal decision, I don't separate home and work. And you know, sometimes that's a little bit of friction on both sides, home and work. But I have found that the more I enjoy blending my personal life with my work life, like the more fun I have. You know what I mean? The more profitable it's been, the more transparent I am.
Do you think, though, it's because we had the intention of being partners from the very beginning, when maybe some couples don't have the intention of being partners?
Well, let's go back to the beginning.
Right.
Okay, so when Sax and I got married, Sax was doing real estate. She was doing her own thing.
I was an entrepreneur.
Right. A what?
An entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur?
Entrepreneur.
You said entrepreneur.
I did?
Yeah, it was weird.
Tomato. I don't know.
Anyways, when we got married, she was doing her own thing. And when, you know, her house she had built and had equity and was flipping it and decided to sell it and moving in together. But when we first got married, the conversation was, okay, well, what are we going to do? Like, are you going to keep selling real estate or, you know, this or that? And while we were dating, a lot of what I wanted in a relationship was I wanted a partner, like an intimate partner that would also be someone that could work with me. I always had this vision. I had the vision that, you know, we could build things together. And I knew with Lions Not Sheep that we were missing kind of the female and the woman's side of the game. I knew that, right? And so we talked about this when we were dating. And I bring this up for a very specific reason, because one of the needs that I had, and we'll tell everybody exactly how it went down, was my Lions Den. And we were growing. We weren't where we are now. And there was a lot of just chaos in it from a managerial standpoint. I'm not the manager. I like to show up, do the freaking deal, do the coaching, help the people. But I didn't like doing the billing and the this and the this and importing and exporting and all this other stuff. And so Sax basically quit doing real estate and got a job with Lions Not Sheep, $80,000 a year salary job, managing the Lions Den. How long did that last?
Well, I spent most of the time untangling knots.
Yeah.
So I basically...
She came in to do all the shit that I didn't want to do.
I did, yeah. I'm really good with systems and processes. Let's put it that way. I love creating systems and processes, and once it's done, I like to hand that off. That's
right.
Truly,
which we didn't have, and so she came in to do that.
Yeah.
And I remember when we first started to work together. You know, I would call I called like Ryan and Amy Stuman because they worked together. You know, Amy worked with Ryan, and Ryan paid her. The Harwards, Jason. And I would ask him, like, hey, I don't know how do I pay her? How do we do this? And it was like, yo, we're going to make this proper. It's going to be official. Yeah. Right? And so it was official. And it lasted,
I think 6 months. Yeah.
6 months. And there was no conversation. There was no over dinner. We're going to talk about, you know, this isn't working. Basically, Sax just showed up one day and said, I'm done. I'm not doing this shit anymore.
No, that's not at all how I said it.
That's exactly how it went down. Okay, you tell us how it went down.
I said, I have gotten this working, operational. I am not a techie person. This is not a well-suited job for me, but it's working now because we've found a lot of things, or I found a lot of things, and then I was like, this is not the right position for me, which you didn't like.
No.
In all fairness.
No.
But I didn't give you a choice. I did quit.
Well, you just quit. We didn't talk about it. There was no conversation about it.
There was.
No, there wasn't.
Yes, there was.
Sax didn't turn in her 2 weeks notice and help me find somebody. She just fucking quit. Okay. Can you know what I'm saying? There was no resignation letter. There wasn't, hey, Sean, we should find somebody else to do this.
I guess that's what happens when you get in business with your wife.
Yeah, when you're having sex and the whole thing, it's like you just, hey, you know what? I'm fucking done with this kind of a thing. So I share that because it was really, really hard. We were trying to figure out how to work together. Mm-hmm. You have a giant ego. I have a giant ego. You were self-sufficient.
I'm used to being a leader. You're used to being a leader.
I'm self-sufficient. And so you have these two alphas, these two masculine, energetic, in the workspace people trying to come together. And it was really hard. It was hard working together. It was hard unwinding everything. But fast forward, a year? We kind of dabbled back and forth, and you didn't really do a whole lot with Lion's Den, or from a practical standpoint, like a technical standpoint.
I was like, I did a lot of things.
Sure, you were at the events and you knew the people and you were at the fly-ins and the whole thing, but from an actual
so then I took over hosting the fly-ins.
So I want to get to why this works and an actual technical application for people. You know what I mean? We can just share the story. We both had to get to a place where we, number one, understood what we wanted to do, and we both knew what we were individually good at, right? But we had to get to a place where we both kind of learned the dance of, number one, we were figuring out how to be married.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But number two...
We went into business together and marriage at this, all together.
Basically the same time. We were trying to figure out how to work together because you can absolutely have two powerhouses working together. You can absolutely have two red personalities, dominant personalities, masculine personalities in business working together. It's not impossible to do. But number one, we were trying to figure out how to be married. We were trying and learning the communication game. But I think with business, you and I were just so fucking bullheaded that we were just like,
for sure,
this is how it is.
In the beginning,
and I know from a man's standpoint.
Well, and let me add to this is not just where we bullheaded. We didn't really have a huge foundation of trust, which, I didn't necessarily trust to hand over.
Right.
I just quit.
This
my
was
career.
early.
This all started before we got married.
Right.
All of that den stuff was before we were even married.
Right.
So I had a really great career. I had two companies, and so and it was a choice. I wanted to build a life with you, but it sounds easier than it actually is an application.
Right.
So I struggled in trusting that, holy crap, I now work for you, and I have to trust that, we're in this together.
Yeah.
And then you had to trust that.
I had to remind you that you did work for me. You're technically employed by me, sweetheart.
I'm an. Okay.
Keep going, dear. Keep going. We had to figure out the dance. And this is important. This is actually a really, really huge lesson because I think a lot of men are leaving a lot of money on the table by excluding their wife from the business world.
Right. Because if as we will fast forward to now, we are freaking in a brilliant space because we figured out which shoe fits best.
Right.
And it honestly came in a way that I didn't totally understand. It's kind of like when you're trying to express your feelings and you really don't know what the need is that needs to be met.
Right.
But you're
still
trying to figure out what the need is, and so you can't orate what the need is. That's kind of what this whole thing's how it worked.
Well, and I found and continue to find and share this specifically with the fellas for a second that I believe that excluding your wife, excluding your family, excluding your significant other from the workspace, from the work game, is actually detrimental. Because I know that even if we weren't working together, the fact that I share with you where I am, what's going on, actually builds a lot of trust.
For sure.
And I know that there's a lot of men out there, a vast majority of men that keep most of the business to themselves. Whether they're up, whether they're down, especially when they're down.
Yeah.
They hide that stuff because it's a sign of weakness. I don't want her to worry. I don't want her to freak out. And I have found that the exact opposite is actually the most beneficial thing for me, for my marriage, and for my business. And so one of the things that I love to share with people, and specifically men, is understanding that what we believe in protecting our families and protecting our wives by holding back is actually hurting us.
And here's one thing that is, like, I'm your confidant.
Right.
And I have women, okay, I shouldn't even say women, like your partner, your spouse, doesn't matter who's listening, has a lot of their own innate wisdom.
Right.
In a very different perspective. And so sometimes it's like your partner may have the idea that will give that 1% shift. And if you're not having that communication, like, you're not mining, like, that you could be mining gold from that person and together, but thinking that your partner needs quote unquote protection. Like, I don't need protection from what life? Like, well, I mean, I need protection from a bear. Yeah. But I don't need protection.
Well, maybe. You're fucking savage.
I am a ninja.
You would, like, fucking, you did just actually try and smuggle a knife through TSA.
I got it through twice.
I know.
Not on purpose.
Sax just got clipped at TSA.
But I got clipped the third time.
You know?
I think it's because I knew it, and I was like, don't read my mind. Don't read my mind. And I'm putting it, just like telling all the TSA agents telepathically. Yeah. Just kidding. But
well, here's something to really think about with that. Like, when you talk about trust and vulnerability, a lot of what we struggle with as men is feeling like the we're protecting, obviously, our family and our wife from not sharing some of these things. And the reality is that causes a bigger wedge, because you really don't know. You don't know if I'm up, if I'm down. You don't know if the business is crushing or not. Typically, we just share the wins. We're like, we spiked the ball in the end zone. We got $1 million deal. We got a raise, whatever. And we celebrate that. Right. But I have found that sharing everything, you know, where you're at, what's up, what's down. Now, I don't talk about computer programming and the code on the website and what fonts we're using for this.
You would know that.
I don't even know that shit anyways. But being radically transparent has, I think, helped our relationship. But you brought this up, and it's a huge thing. Fellas, a lot of our women, our wife has a lot of insight from a feminine standpoint to the business conversation that's absolutely needed. And you're talking to the red personality guy. I'm the fiercest. I'm the alpha. Call me whatever the fuck you want, right? All of the charts of my, you know, what do they call them? The Enneagram
your
things
star
or
chart,
star chart.
Your Enneagram 8.
Yeah, all that shit. Like, I am the moving at 200 miles an hour kind of a guy.
Not the best at systems and processes.
Not at all. Not even close.
Yeah.
But I have found that through our conversations and through our transparency and through my willingness to open up about business, and you and I collaborating now on ideas and on things, it's helped me a ton in business. Yeah. It's helped me a ton at home, but it's also helped me a ton in business. Now, one other caveat to this that I really, really, really want to point out. Fellas, listen. And I know that every single woman is going to be like, amen, right? If you're dealing with like a high pressure situation, like most of us want to play big. I would like to believe that if a guy is listening to this podcast, that he wants to play a big game. You're not just like, I'm really stoked about my $35,000 a year 9-to-5 job at the bank, right? I would like to believe that you want to play a big game, and by a big game, I mean you're taking chances, you're taking risks, you're running fast, you're moving into uncharted territory, you're doing things that make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. One of the things that will absolutely help you is your woman knowing where you really are and what's going on, so that she can then meet you with the feminine that you need. Let me explain this. If I come home and I'm just a fucking short fuse blowing my lid because I'm stressed to the max and she doesn't know what's going on, she's going to be in a place of fear. Am I getting laid when she's in a place of fear? Is she grabbing my dick in a place of fear? Or, no. Are you doing those in a place of fear, babe? No.
No, not typically.
But when you're open, when you're knowledgeable about what's going on, when I can share with you, hey, here's what's going on, I'm stressed to the fucking max, and there is trust there, how much more likely are you, case in point, 2 days ago? 2 days ago, come home, we're running a big game, we're doing a bunch of shit, there's a bunch of changes that we're making, we're literally changing almost our entire staff with the apparel company, we're revamping a whole bunch of shit, and I came home, and Sax was like, this little kid, she's like, have you gone upstairs? Have you gone upstairs? And I'm like, no, I haven't gone upstairs yet. Have you been in the bathroom yet? Have you been in the bathroom? And I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Meet me in the bathroom.
Meet me in the bathroom, right? And so I'm like, okay, great. And long story short, I go upstairs and she had drawn a bath and had rose petals and a bunch of candles and a big caramel heart chocolate to eat and the whole thing. And it was really, really super sweet, right? My point in saying this, and guys, you got to understand that what you fear in sharing about business is actually what's keeping you from being connected.
Right.
And I promise you, if you share transparently, if you open yourself up and bring her into your world, she'll actually be able to meet you with the things that you need. So those days that you want to burn the whole fucking thing down, those days that you're carrying the weight, those days that there's millions on the line, those days when it's like you want to fucking, those are the days that when you come home and you hand her the football, she's going to carry the football. You're going to get what you want.
A real, like a woman who's truly in touch with her feminine, like I want to nurture. I want to nurture what I love. I want to nurture my children and my plants and my puppies. Like I want to nurture my husband. And it's so true. It's like if I understand like that this is going on, I can present myself more soft because like that's ultimately what I want to do.
Right.
Like I want to nurture you. Just as you want to protect. That's how you're the makeup of a man. You want to protect. You want to provide. I want to nurture. I want to care for. And it's like, let the other person have that opportunity to fully show up in your life. So yeah, blind, like keeping it so divided. I mean, it's shown. It's like eventually it'll crack the teapot. Like it will burst somewhere. Right. And that's where people end up with having an affair because then they have a person that they can
emotionally disconnect.
Emotionally disconnect. Women do it, men do it in the same way. It's like, well, I can't talk to my partner about this. That's bullshit. You can. Right. You're choosing not to.
Right.
What I was going to say though about going into business together is my big thing is I really wanted to co-create with you, and I kept saying that. Like you're like, I just want to provide for you. I just want to provide, and I'm like, that's great, but I want to create. Like it fills my purpose. It fills my passion to create. And we really like rubbed on that for a while where it's like, I wanted to be able to do these things and it's great. Like you more so wanted to, why are you on your phone?
I'm going to video you while you're talking because you're so cute.
No, we have all these cameras right now.
You know, I'm doing it for the gram. Go.
Oh my God.
Keep going.
He gets on his phone when I'm talking and then I feel like I'm talking to the wall. Are you done?
Go ahead, babe.
Can you put your phone down? That would be lovely. This is one of the things we actually fight about a lot is his full attention. Side note. But it's that you really, really were just like, just let me provide for you. And you thought that like that was the epitome of what I wanted because maybe that was the epitome of what another woman in your life had wanted, which sounds more like your first wife. And reading your partner and understanding like, what do they want? Like, here's what I want to give you, but what do you actually want? Because maybe you don't want everything I want to give you. Maybe, we can build our own bundle with this, right? And so with us, it took a long time, not a long time, but it took a while for us to realize that like, I didn't actually care about getting a paycheck. What I cared about is knowing that my needs were met by money. And is that Gunner?
Yeah.
Oh, I just farted. Sorry, it smells so bad.
See, this is what happens when you get on my case for trying to take a picture of you. The dog shits right in your face. Oh my God,
it's terrible. Okay, sorry. We are not the most professional podcast station out there, but we aren't sorry. But then, what I realized is that I just wanted to be a part of because I have so much to give. I have so many ideas and I have so much passion. And with where we are now is we didn't even really talk about it. Yeah. We just let it happen. Like you let me in enough to kind of just be, and I found where I'm happy. And what's beautiful is it's created just more abundance. Right. And it's because we're both just honoring the other person where they're at in this. And of course, I don't think every business has that. Sure. But I came in here originally to the Alliance Not Cheap Apparel, and I just used to say, I'm just here to support. Right. Like, I'm just here to support you. Like, what do you need from me today? And I would kind of take the temperature of everybody, like talk to them, how can I help you? What do you need to share with me? What do you need done? And so I kind of kept it was like the love officer, right? I just would go around and do that, which then it just phased into other things. And then we started, I knew for a long time that we needed more women's apparel. I mean,
we've been talking
modeling
about it for a long
you
time.
since you launched the company.
Right.
And there's never really been that. And so it's beautiful. And like, I just started driving that ship, and you've really honored it. And what's beautiful is it's, you don't know what the potential is of something unless you let it happen. And in letting it happen, you have to have trust and you have to have faith, and really just honoring that the other person may know something or may be called to do something with their life or from God or however you want to look at it, that actually you don't have have a roadmap to.
Right.
And so co-creating and following, taking your maps and really finding out the best direction to build is honoring. It's truly a really beautiful way of honoring your lives.
Right.
And then you have less friction most of the time.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
I've found that I have less friction the more open and transparent I am in every facet.
Oh, for sure.
Business as well. Like as well as everything else in my life.
Yeah.
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 It works.
We were really, really, really struggling with this though. And that's why, like, if anybody out there just can't, just doesn't think it's possible, I think it is possible.
Yeah. And you don't have to, like, look, if you're a State Farm insurance agent, if you're a car salesman, you know what I mean? It's not like your wife is coming to the car lot every single day, whatever. But the truth of the matter is, like, you understanding the sales processes and understanding where you're at, your wife is going to shine another light in there. Your wife is going to put an angle to the feminine aspect of things that you probably don't think about. And if you're in a sales position, in a sales job, which pretty much anything you're doing is, you want to be able to understand every dynamic and every facet of what we're doing. Like we had talked about doing, we had women's clothes, we had women's apparel, but it wasn't feminine. It was like, we had a unisex shirt and women were buying unisex Lions Not Sheep shirts. And we were always like, dude, we want more feminine stuff. But I wasn't going to go out and design feminine stuff and put all that stuff together. And that's where you kind of saw the game was like, hey, I'll do that because I like it. And now here we are, and it's absolutely awesome. Yeah. And I get to see you every single day of the week.
You lucky duck.
At the office.
You would miss me probably if I wasn't here, though.
What?
You would probably miss me.
I'll FaceTime you. I would FaceTime you.
Well, our offices are completely as far apart as possible.
Well, there was a strategy in this. I'm not dumb. Put her down in the corner. Let her do her thing. Yeah, it really is a powerful tool. And I believe it's something that is really needed today. Yeah. Especially with the way relationships are going, with the disconnection on every other front, with how much time we spend on social media, not pressing the flesh, not together, not sitting down at dinner, eye to eye, face to face. I really feel like, especially for men, really understanding that if you can intertwine every facet of your life, the physical to the mental to the spiritual to the financial, and really like not have to separate who you are, not being a guy over here and then a different guy over here. It's so much easier to live that way. It's so much easier to live that way. I talked about in my book, I felt like I was juggling bowling balls. Yeah. When I was at work, I needed to be at home. When I was home, I needed to be at work. That's a shitty place to be. It's ultimately like it broke me. I did that for years, and then I quit juggling all the balls, and I was like, well, fuck everything, right? Yeah.
Do you think, so I just thought of something. Do you think that the fact that you had them so separate was what caused the division of you need to be home? Yeah. Your wife not understanding what was happening in the business, because then there's that
well, I didn't
ultimatum
know.
Of you need to be here.
Right.
Because,
I didn't know how to handle it. When I was at home, I would be on my BlackBerry 24/7 working. Right. And I wasn't present at home, but I didn't know how to do business any other way. It was like, look, if you want to be an entrepreneur, this is how it works. You got to work 20 hours a day. You're always connected. You're always on. If the phone rings at 2 a.m, you're the owner. You got to fucking pick up the phone. I didn't understand that you don't need to do that. I didn't understand how to run a company and to build a business and to have employees and a team and the whole thing. Yeah. But then when I was at work, I felt bad because I felt like I needed to be at home 24/7. And if I wasn't there when the kid lost the tooth or when this happened or when whatever, then I was a shitty dad, right? And so the mental game was like just constantly like screwing with my brain, where now it doesn't matter what I'm doing. If Bryn FaceTimes me, I pick up the phone. If my kids call, I pick up the phone, right? And it's like, it's a really cool place to be where you truly learn to start driving, your own bus and doing things the way that you want them done, to where you're connected to all of it all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like when we're like last night was date night. We're not on the phones during date night. We're not doing work during date night, right? When we're at work, we're doing work. We're not talking about, you and I have had this conversation many times where you'll come in and I'm in work mode and you're like, talking about some other, I'm like, babe, I can't talk about this right now. We're not talking about this right now. And you're not offended by it because it's like, hey, we're at the office, we're doing work today. This is where we are right now. We can talk about this later, right? I really feel like the transparency in communication, the transparency in both of the worlds is what's really brought us together and what makes it work now to where we can work together and not like have it be contentious or have it be scary or intimidating. You know what I mean?
Yeah. One of the biggest things that really, really made it work for me was this, and it's language. I actually loved that I noticed this about you the other day, and I pointed it out, is everything in the beginning used to be I with you. It's my company. It's I, mine. And even though that's just language, when we got married, our agreement was to build a life together. And I was very sensitive to the language of I and my, because that didn't include me, right? Where then my brain was then trying to find something safe to attach to in this part of this thing, right? And it struggled for a while. But it's like when your language started saying ours and really included like the companies and the employees, even the language of our employees, our company, our house, everything became ours and a we statement. Just the change in language completely changed the way I felt. And that's massive. And I think more women than just me would resonate with that. Right. Because now it's like, I know that, and I'm saying this again because this was really a crucial thing for me, is when I truly trusted the fact that my needs were going to be met financially, right? Because I was a single mom for a long time. So that was a big high alert for me. Like I was the breadwinner. I was that person. And so that's what I came from. So I was mostly in that masculine. So I needed to make sure that, okay, like that's big. You're actually handling that masculine part or that part, that leader part. And when you included the we and the ours, then I felt just more comfortable just existing in that space of ours, not necessarily needing like something tangible to hold on to. And I'm not saying that I don't like women don't need paychecks. That's not what I'm saying. But for me, it was like, I just wanted to know that what I'm putting my heart and soul and energy and love and time and effort and all this is actually growing something of ours. And that was really really all I wanted and needed, truthfully, from that element. And that changed a lot for me.
Yeah. Bringing home the buffalo, babe.
I love it.
Yeah. I think this is a good chat.
It was a really good chat. We had no idea what we were going to talk about when we sat down.
Sort of. Did we cover it? You think we covered it?
I guess the topic was working together, so I did know to some degree.
Yeah, I think this is really important. I think we could go a ton of different ways with this, but it's huge today, in my opinion, to really, 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 when you talk about having your house in order, for me, it's knowing that it transcends all of it. Like it transcends our emotional, our spiritual, our financial, our physical. We're intertwined. You know what I mean? And guys, I think today need to realize, like, the more I can bring my wife and my family into my world, which is all of it, the more peace you're going to find. Right. And it's scary because you think it's the opposite. You think, if she knows where we are and how much money I'm risking or how much money I'm putting into this or what I'm investing in or how much we lost or whatever else, she's going to freak the fuck out. I found the exact opposite to be true.
Absolutely.
It actually has helped me, driven me, and motivated me more by knowing, hey, we just got our asses kicked. I just lost, blah, 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 blah. This just happened, whatever.
Right.
Done and done.
Yeah. But that's also like, I committed, we're all in. Like it's not you. Like, even that shit that happens, it's mine too. Like, why? Because, hold on, play with my glass. Why? Because it's affecting my husband, which is going to be mine regardless. That energy, I'll feel it regardless. And it was really, last thing I just want to say is, it's really beautiful how you stepped into, so Lions on Sheep, like you had this baby. It's very, very much one of your children. And to trust me and allow me to branch off and create something totally uninhibited. Like I just like make stuff and you just trust me. It's pretty dope. I mean, honestly, it may not seem that big of a deal, but it speaks volumes in what you're actually doing. Like, Sean lets me just create and launch and put out whatever a queen item attached to this company, and that's like, that could have flopped. That could have been a horrible move or whatever, but you just are like, okay, do your thing. Because
I'm fucking smart.
Well,
I'm really smart.
Yes, you are very smart.
I was like, this is a great decision.
My wife is brilliant.
Let her run with this.
She's brilliant.
She's gonna become the friggin' sugar mama. She's gonna make us rich. I agree. And it is hard to do, but at the same time, it's actually not.
It's not.
When it first started, I was like, and then I'm like, dude, just fucking let her do her thing, man.
Yeah. This is what you wanted. It's what I wanted.
Yeah, and we build really cool shit together.
Yeah. And honestly, like, our relationship is so much better now that we're just like, you know what? We're in it. Yeah. Let's just do this.
Yeah. Don't compartmentalize. Don't separate. Put it all on the table. Put the business on the table, the life on the table. Again, if you're dating somebody, it is probably not the prudent decision, but if you're with somebody, husband, wife, go all in, man. Put all the chips on the table. And I guarantee you, you do that, you're going to, number one, be a lot fucking happier. Your relationship is going to be significantly more connected, and I guarantee you'll make more money.
Yep.
Fellas, I guarantee you go all in, give her like the football to run with, like give her all of the cards, like let her show her where you're playing ball and what you're doing. Bring her into your business world, bring her into the business conversation. I guarantee you'll make more money. Guaranteed.
Yeah. Being loved and supported. Someone has your back. Oh, okay.
And you'll get laid more. You'll have way more sex. Sure. I guarantee you will.
Absolutely.
See? This podcast is going to make so many people so much more money and have so much. There's going to be so many more babies because of this show. You know what I mean?
They can name them after you.
And you.
And me.
All right, guys, go all in. No compartmentalizing, fellas. Bring her in. Give it a try. Yeah. Give it a whirl. See what happens. Let us know. Hit us up in the comments. And if it goes totally sideways and she freaks fuck out and leaves you, well, that's not our fault.
That's
you know what I mean?
Maybe not the one. Sorry.
It's maybe not the one.
Maybe that's just not your girl.
Yeah. All right, guys. If you know somebody that needs to hear this, which is probably every single man, do us a solid and tag them or share it with them, will you?
We appreciate you guys.
Anything else, babe?
Are we switching channels?
No, I think, you know what? We're still on the clock. I think you should get back to work and go design some more shit.
You know what I said the other day? I rolled in and I was like, you know what's funny? I don't have to be here at any time, so I can roll in late because you can't fire me because I don't really work here. And Alex was like, like, I love this setup. It's brilliant. Richie, do I need to say that? Are we switching channels? Do we need to say that?
I think we're adding it, yeah.
Okay.
What?
We may be switching channels. The Sean and Sax Show on YouTube. Duh. Just putting it out there.
What do you mean switching channels? What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, creating a new channel, moving it over.
Oh, whatever. Yeah, you'll still
I'm
find
just
us.
planting the seed.
Most people listen to it, so it doesn't matter. You're not going. We're fine.
It
if you're
may
listening
matter
to this,
to one person, and I'm speaking to that
great.
one person.
Well,
and if you're out there, I hear you.
And you can't find our show, you fucking Google it and you'll find it.
But there will be two, goofball.
Yeah, we're good.
We have a technical issue, so we may be
all right.
having
We're
a second
great.
channel.
You guys are awesome. We love you. See you next time.
Okay,
Bye.
love you. Bye.